Spoiler alert, I don't have and haven't been diagnosed with cancer. Hi there. If you don't know me, my name is Riley, and this last year was an experience. While writing my annual work review this year, I realized that I could hardly remember last year, so this video is gonna be a review of 2023. As the year started off, my personality was the 2020 film Emma, directed by Autumn de Wilde, and by proxy, Johnny Flynn, both his acting and his music, and New Jeans, the K-pop group. I got to visit Hawaii with my family.
Any frogs at all?
I don't think so. I think it's just like birds and stuff.
About trees and ferns. These are all ferns?
Yeah. Like there's some trees in here, but it's a lot of trees and ferns and really cool stuff. Good enough. The Big Island stole a piece of my heart, from its incredible landscapes to its food, especially its food. Haiku coffee has my heart. I will be forever chasing an avocado toast that is even somewhat close to the qualities theirs was. I'll have to put a photo in, it was great. It's this like super thick Hawaiian sweetbread, and that alone would be enough to like make this the best avocado toast I had, but then they had like pickled carrots, a little bit of red onion, which I'm an onion girly. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now. I experienced a warm day in the 80s, and in that same day, 28-degree snowy wind chill. I got to see the telescopes at Mauna Kea, which reignited my love and passion for astrophysics, and I think I might even want to get a physics degree just for fun. One of my favorite parts of that trip was getting to spend time with my grandparents, uncles, aunts, and my kid cousins. That time was so sweet, and I'm super thankful for it. And so I'm pretty sure things happened in between that trip and my illness, but all I can kind of remember is that my passion for Doctor Who, read Billie Piper and her pop star era, started reigniting with the 60th anniversary approaching. In May or June, I started feeling severe abdominal pain. I went to urgent care to get told that I was just constipated and that I needed to drink a metric ton of Miralax. And that is almost nearly what my doctor told me. Miralax did not work, and thanks to some advice from friends, I resorted to stronger treatment. I can't believe I am telling poop stories on the internet. I would see my first love, Fall Out Boy, for the third time in between flare-ups. I got to go along some dear friends of mine and somehow got perfectly centered seats, which as an audio engineer fed my soul. I'm not gonna post any videos because I was scream singing every single song because it was my perfect set. Like, perfect. We got Golden, Gina SFS, and America's Sweethearts, and when I tell you Golden is one of my favorite songs they do, I was losing it once I heard those first chords on the piano. It is so windy today. A month later, I had another flare-up, and I'm sure the girlies are already starting to connect the dots already. I woke up one day and felt not great, but okay enough to push through the day, and later in the afternoon, within probably an hour, my condition rapidly declined. I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat, I could barely exist. I'm a voracious reader, and yet reading was too taxing in most of my moments. My lovely boss, and if you're watching this, hi, urged me to go to the ER instead of urgent care again, and after a few scans, an IV bag, and an ER selfie, I got told by my doctor that I had 2 ovarian cysts and that I would need surgery to remove them. They were 10 and 12 centimeters in diameter, which is a bit bigger than a softball. I got to see both the worst and the best of the medical system. My first OBGYN I got assigned, let's say Frank, said it could be endometriosis, told me to take some Tylenol for the pain that I couldn't walk or eat with, ordered me tests and a surgery about 6 weeks out, and then went on radio silence. A day or a few after that, I got to experience some fun bodily reactions to severe pain and nausea that included, but was not limited to, vomiting. That prompted my 4 a.m. trip to the ER. And by now, I'm starting to memorize the layout of the hospital, which, while helpful, doesn't bode well for your medical past, present, or future. Sometime, because time feels flexible here, later, I got a call from a specialist, but she didn't want to continue the conversation until I knew why I was being referred. We couldn't get a hold of Frank, and eventually my mom went down to his office at the hospital, and through a conversation on my mom's phone, I learned that there was a chance that the cysts were cancerous, and the specialist I got referred to was an oncologist. She was great. She told me that she really thought it was endometriosis, where basically the lining of your uterus decides to grow outside of your uterus and become cysts and cause you pain and internal scarring. And while it's better than ovarian cancer, it's a chronic condition with no cure. Or at least not yet. However, despite our hunch, we couldn't know for sure whether it was endometriosis, cancer, or something else until surgery where they could take the suspect tissue out and test it. The perks of a cancer scare is that your surgery dates get pushed up. I had to sign away a variety of my organs and tissues because there was a chance they would be too connected to the cysts. This meant that early menopause was on the table too, which doesn't just affect fertility, but also ups your chances of early onset osteoporosis and dementia. While all of this was going on, my grandma flew out to help take care of me. While the reasons for her visit weren't the best, I loved getting to spend so much time with her, and it was always so funny to pull the walker out of the car for me to use. In some of my better moments, I was able to rouse myself for a game of rummy cub, with my family in the middle of some good summer storms that, which ended up, the hurricane, if you remember the hurricane from last year, that. A fun side effect of having constant abdominal pain is I memorized where every pothole and bump is on the roads in my city. One of my regrets that year was that I didn't go to see Blackpink when they were touring in the US. So when they announced their encore show at Dodger Stadium, I bought tickets so fast. Plot twist, ended up being like 3 to 4 days before my surgery date, but I was determined to find a way to go. At that point, thanks to a proper medication regimen and having a month of learning how to exist as a temporarily disabled person, I was able to walk more, I learned how to sit for the least amount of pain, and I felt like I could go to the concert. I purchased a rose gold cane, so if I needed a walking assist, it would at least be a sleigh. I was so determined I was not gonna miss seeing them because my body was rebelling. This was my first K-pop concert, and it was one of the best ones I've ever been to. I loved how in sync all the parts of their production was. It was a masterclass in teamwork and creative design. And when I tell you the pyro was tasteful, love it. Loved it. Everything had been going great. I felt uncomfortable, but not in pain. I hadn't needed my cane yet. One might say things were going too well. As we were leaving our seats, before we even left the stadium seating area, I missed a step, fell, and twisted and sprained my ankle. It was bad. So that's how I got used to my cane. Everything I need is on the ground. Surgery comes, and I got to explain to my pre-op nurse that my sprained ankle is not why I'm here today. And recovery was very interesting. Trying to get walking post-op can be a bit difficult with a sprained ankle. Here are some fun facts about my surgery that I learned. There was a typo in my surgical notes, and apparently I'm chocolate-filled. The big cyst needed to be an overachiever, which is typical of me, and basically ate one of my ovaries, so now I'm a single ovary girly. I was really nervous about having to get fully opened up because of the size of the cysts. You remember softballs? Two. And in a follow-up appointment, I learned that my surgeon was so close to having to do so, and she was surprised that she was able to remove everything laparoscopically. I'm not going to go super deep on this part, but I need it to be known that belly buttons are weird. Whenever I look at my laparoscopic scars, I thank God, as I'm reminded of all that happened last year, from the pain to the miracle of not having to get opened up because that was so close to being a reality for me, and it lengthening all of my recovery time, to even the miracle of not having cancer, because when I tell you the tests were concerning. But I'm also reminded of how my community rallied around me and prayed and cared for me last year. I'm so thankful. The latter part of the year feels like a blur to me, so here are the highlights. I booked a trip to the UK for this year. I've been toying around with the idea of taking a trip out of the country, but I've always hesitated because I was afraid of going alone. After everything I went through, all of my hesitations about traveling solo disappeared, and while I've been out of the country once before, I was a child. I know I would regret not traveling out of the country during my 20s, which is why I'm kicking off 29 with an international trip to England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland. Another highlight of the holiday season was the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials. I loved seeing David Tennant and Catherine Tate back in action, and I absolutely love Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. I definitely cried at least once. So if I had to give a star rating for this last year, I think it earned a solid 2 out of 5 stars. We get 1 star for Fall Out Boy, Blackpink, and Doctor Who, and 1 star for Hawaii and Time with My Family. And as for the other 3, we lost a star for memorizing the hospital layout, another star was lost for the cancer scare, and the other star was eaten by a cyst.